Yo, what's up, family? Um, Welcome into my channel. First YouTube video ever. It's your first time here, mine too. So, start out by telling you a little bit about myself. I am from Birmingham, Alabama, born and raised. I am 31. I'll be 32 in April. So shout out to all the April babies coming up. But I just want to say I appreciate everybody stopping in, checking the channel out, and just trying to, be obedient. Never really saw myself in this lane, but for God's glory, man, it ain't for me. It's not about me. I'm just here trying to be a vessel and be obedient, impact the lives of people that I can, just, along the way. And I would say a reference to this channel is something that God spoke. He started speaking to me about a little over a year, like maybe just barely over a year. And I was just kind of thinking like, all right, cool, good idea. Put it down in my notes. And if I'm being honest about it, I didn't really think a ton about it because my mind was just kind of like, I don't really like, being in front of the camera, doing a whole bunch of talking, just like, to a bunch of people that I don't know. Another thing too, I'm more of like an in-person like guy, but so yeah, it's just like, all right, cool. I put it down in my notes as an idea. And then I think it's easy too to focus on all the different things that you don't have, like being highlighted to you to make the engine run. So I put it down and I just kind of like, okay, if the time is right, he'll make it. And I think just throughout the year, 2025, it was like he would give me nudges about it. But again, like I said, just highlighted on all the things that you don't have. It's just like, all right, okay, when I get this, then I'll do that. And it's just kind of like, that ain't, really the way God worked, when he tell us to do something. So it took me a minute. It took me a minute to get that out of my system. And here I am, like I said, over a year later, finally just, putting the rubber to the road and just doing, what he told me to do. So yeah, it's been a journey. And I would say I feel like for the most part of last year, I was just kind of, in question about some things, really seeking God in terms of like clarity and what I should be doing, like right now. And if I'm being honest, I didn't feel like I was getting a whole lot of feedback on that. But I'll say like closer towards the end of the year, I feel like he started to highlight to me subtly, just like certain things that he was already telling me to do that I was just kind of dragging my feet on. And so I felt the urgency kind of building up, in those areas. And one of the things, it was one that was kind of difficult for me to do. And I had like, a simple conversation with my sister. And she was just kind of, like, hey, if you feel like this is what you're supposed to be doing, then do it. And this was like at the tail end of 2025. So ended up doing, but like I said, as I got closer to just that first act of like real obedience in a difficult situation, it was like God was starting to illuminate to me more like what I should be doing. I had been asking for a while and it was just kind of like, cold in the area. So I'm like, all right, cool. Nah, I really want cool. If I'm keeping it a being with you, like it was not cool at all. A lot of stress went behind that. A lot of moving pieces and me trying to put things together like in my own power, just to make things work. Even things that I felt like he was telling me to do, but it's just like, he has a particular grace on it and within a time frame that he's ordained it. And so whenever we step outside of that, or we may be trying to push it to obtain it faster without the last step of obedience, like it's going to be difficult. And you'll feel some internal turmoil because of that. And so that was just kind of like the rough patch that I went through. And when I finally committed to like this act of obedience, the first one that he was telling me to do, that also I had drug out, for a year or whatever. I started to finally like feel some peace in the areas where I had been stressing that. And all of a sudden it was like a light flipped. Like he started speaking to me and making it more clear and defined, like what I was supposed to be doing in this particular moment, and certain things that he had told me to do that again I was dragging my feet on, but it was like he was just starting to bring all of these things back to my memory. Like, hey, okay, remember I told you to work on this? And so it's like, all right, started to feel good, like I said, just from a simple act of obedience, and it made me feel like more inclined to like just dig deeper into the things that he may have told me that I put on the back burner, and decided to kind of move at my own pace. And so I really felt the urgency this time is just like, all right, I can't miss a beat. Like everything that God is telling me to do, I know it's certain things that I'm expecting out of life, certain things that I want, promises that he has for me, and there's no way that I can put my hands on them without being obedient. So it made me start to just kind of go back and check, and balance everything out to try and make sure that I was moving according to his plan and not my own plan for my life. So yeah, and that led to, again, boom, get on YouTube, uh, start the channel, start posting all of this stuff. Like I said, stuff that I had been told, like being told previously or prior to, but yeah, just me in a way. Um, so yeah, it was time, and here I am just kind of stepping out of my comfort zone. Like this is not something that's easy for me to do. But ultimately at the end of the day, like I said, it's about God, being glorified, his will being done in my life and in the earth. So I'm telling him like, hey, if you want this to be done, then, you got to make the way for me. And um, really just give me the words to say, because I'll get on this camera and just freeze up easily. It's not something that's easy for me, just, having to push myself out of the comfort zone, because what he wants is more important than what I want. But I do believe at the end of the day that I will be, rewarded for it, and I will see good come from it. And I think that he'll fill me up just from the impact that I'm able to make on the lives of other people. So yeah, once again, this is my channel. It'll be a lot of different things, like I said, from faith, family, food, fashion, real estate, music, art, so many different things, you name it. Yeah, I like to think that I am a multifaceted, multi-layered person, and I think that through displaying all of those different things, I'll be able to just kind of let y'all in my life, and yeah, through it, hopefully influence, some of you guys to just have a closer walk, with God, and even some outsiders that may not um, currently believe in Jesus, that you're inspired by me in some way, shape, form, or fashion, to get on board, man, to get on board. It's the only way. It's the only way. And I won't be here, just trying to like push, push my faith, down your throat. That ain't really how I'm trying to move. I think that the best way is just living by an example, and really loving people where they are. I think that that's the most profound impact. And I think that that's the way that Jesus did it. So if I'm trying to be like him, ultimately at the end of the day, me following his steps and doing it the way that he did it, I feel like is most important. Um, so yeah, man, hopefully it'll be, an exciting run. Hopefully I'll be able to just show you guys a lot of different things that goes on in my life. Some of the things that he speaks to me about, some of the layers in my brain, different lifestyle things. Like I said, all of that, just personality, however he sees fit. Like I said, however he leads me, that's how the content will flow. Um, so I can't, just necessarily forecast like what exactly everything will be and when it will be. So I just kind of know like a general ballpark, area of some of the things that he wants me to put out there, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, you guys stay tuned, man, and hopefully we can build, a solid community with each other, just enjoying each other, growing stronger in the faith, and yeah, we'll see where it goes. I appreciate y'all, man. Everybody that's tuned in, and make sure y'all like, subscribe, and check me out for more. Peace.